My name is Matt Vlasma. I grew up in Muskegon, Michigan. So growing up, our parents thought it was important to attend church as a family. In our church, we do what we call a profession of faith. I was in my senior year of high school. There was a handful of other kids that were also going to do profession of faith. I ended up doing my profession of faith because they were doing theirs. I felt almost peer pressured into it because I felt like that's what was expected of us. But I mean, at that time I was a believer. I just didn't want the awkward conversation of, why isn't Matthew doing his profession of faith? And so I just avoided all that and I did it. After I graduated high school, I got my first job that required me to miss church on Sundays. So for the next 4 years, I didn't attend church. Throughout those years, I started missing church. In 2015, I met my wife, Faith, fell in love, and after 2 years of dating, we got married in 2017. In 2016, I got my second job as a welder. That's when me and my wife started attending church again. After we got married, we returned to my childhood church. Things were going great. Our faith was growing together. We were growing together as a couple. After a couple years of attending, our church went through a bad split, and me and my wife did not agree with what had happened, so we also left as well. We started looking for a church that was right for us. And then COVID hit, and that's when things started taking a bad turn. My wife started to lose interest in going to church in general. She told me she wanted to take a break from going to church, but I didn't. I wanted to keep pursuing and looking for a church home. I wanted to grow my faith more and more, and at that point, I was desperately looking for a church. I just feel like I needed that fellowship in my life. I needed the word just being preached, and that's when, in my marriage, our beliefs and our values started to grow apart considerably. Tom, my brother-in-law, he actually invited me to church one Sunday because he knew that I was looking for a church and we were looking for a church. I decided to go, and that was supposed to be a temporary stepping stone until my wife wanted to start looking for churches again. My wife was against going to Baptist church, and then that's when things hit rock bottom for me. August 16th of this year, I came home like any other day, but instead of meeting my wife there, I was met with a 4-page paper saying that she was leaving me, and she filed for divorce that day. I was completely blindsided. I did not see that coming. I knew things weren't the best, but I had no idea that it was going to come to this. What followed after that was multiple breakdowns. I was not suicidal, but I just feel like I didn't want to live anymore. I lost passion for everything. My work and just everyday life, I just didn't want to get out of bed anymore. When that happened, I just remember not being mad at God. Instead, that's when I put everything into Him. I was not living a life worthy for the one who gave his life for me. I just knew I needed to make a change. I gave Him complete control that day. After news got out of the whole divorce situation, Tom invited me to his small group, and I just remember not wanting to go at all. That first night I attended his small group, I literally had to drag myself there. It was just very hard with emotions and just not wanting to do anything. But I quickly came around. Just everybody in that group was amazing. I was met with just so much love and encouragement, and to this day, I'm still attending the group and just made a lot of friends. Through this whole situation, my faith has never been stronger. Though this divorce that I'm going through has pained me a lot, there is some good that has come out of it. Actually, I shouldn't say some good. There's a lot to be thankful for, and I know that sounds weird. Growing up in the church and where I am now, I've only been half in to my faith. I can honestly say I'm all in now, and I've put all my trust and all my faith in God that He's got this. I have leaned on Him through this entire situation, and He's carried me through, and He still is. This was not my strength. I cannot do this alone, so I'm just so thankful that He just got a hold of my life. I've come a long ways from where I was, but I still have a long way to go. But I feel like this church family and this church is the place to do it. When I started attending, people were just so kind to me. Like, I considered myself an outsider, and I had no intention of joining the church. If somebody told me that I was gonna do this years ago, I would have laughed and be like, no. But again, it's not my plan, it's God's plan, so I'm very thankful for what has happened in my life. I also want to thank my dad for making church a priority as kids, and also for all the Unity concerts that he's invited me to. Love that time together, and that has had more of an impact on my life than you probably realize. So I just want to say thank you, and I love you.